Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm Victor, and in this video, I'll explain ISO 20022 in the simplest way possible. For decades, banks have used MT messages to exchange payment instructions. So why is the financial industry moving to ISO 20022? And what does that mean for SWIFT? By the end of this video, you'll clearly understand the difference between SWIFT, MT messages, and ISO 20022. So let's get started. Why change? Now that we understand what SWIFT is, a natural question comes to mind. If SWIFT has been working successfully for decades, why did the banking industry introduce ISO 20022? The answer is simple. Today's payments require richer information, better automation, stronger regulatory compliance, and faster processing. Traditional MT messages were designed decades ago and weren't built to support the complex requirements of today's digital financial ecosystem. That's where ISO 20022 comes in. What is ISO 20022? So, what exactly is ISO 20022? First, it's important to understand that ISO 20022 is not a replacement for SWIFT. ISO 20022 is an international messaging standard that defines how financial information should be structured and exchanged between financial institutions. Think of it this way. SWIFT is the delivery network. ISO 20022 is the language used to create the message. Just as different people communicate using a common language, banks communicate using a common financial language called ISO 20022.SWIFT versus ISO 20022. One of the biggest misconceptions is that SWIFT and ISO 20022 compete with each other. They don't. SWIFT provides the secure communication network that connects financial institutions across the world. ISO 20022 defines the structure and format of the financial messages sent over that network. Here's an easy analogy. Imagine a highway. The highway represents the SWIFT network. The vehicles traveling on that highway represent ISO 20022 messages. The highway remains the same. Only the vehicles become smarter and more efficient. MT versus ISO 20022 XML messages. For many years, banks exchanged financial information using MT messages. Examples include MT 103 for customer payments, MT 202 for bank-to-bank transfers, and MT 940 for account statements. Today, the industry is moving toward ISO 20022 XML messages, commonly called MX messages. Examples include PAX.008, PAX.009, and CAMP.053. It's important to remember that MX is simply industry shorthand. The actual international messaging standard is ISO 20022.Y ISO 20022. So why did the financial industry decide to move to ISO 20022? There were several important reasons. Banks needed richer payment information. Regulators required better sanctions screening and anti-money laundering checks. Financial institutions wanted higher straight-through processing rates with fewer manual repairs. Customers expected faster, more transparent, and more reliable international payments. ISO 20022 helps meet all of these needs by providing more structured and meaningful financial data. Benefits of ISO 20022. Compared with traditional MT messages, ISO 20022 offers several important advantages. It supports richer and more structured data. It improves automation and straight-through processing. It enables better interoperability between payment systems. It provides greater transparency throughout the payment journey. It also simplifies reconciliation and helps create a future-ready payment infrastructure. These benefits improve efficiency for both banks and customers. MT versus MX example. Let's compare the information available in each message. A typical MT 103 contains details such as the customer's name, address, payment amount, currency, and payment reference. An ISO 20022 PAX.008 message can support additional structure information, such as structured addresses, legal entity identifiers, also known as LEIs, were provided, regulatory reporting information, purpose codes, and enhanced remittance data. This richer information improves automation, compliance, and payment processing across the financial system. Who is migrating? ISO 20022 is not limited to SWIFT alone. It is being adopted across the global financial industry. This includes swift cross-border payments, real-time gross settlement systems, high-value payment systems, and securities market infrastructures. In fact, nearly all major payment market infrastructures around the world have adopted or are implementing ISO 20022 for payments and securities processing. This makes ISO 20022 a truly global financial messaging standard. Does SWIFT still exist? Absolutely. SWIFT is not being replaced. During the migration period, SWIFT supports both traditional MT messages, where applicable, and ISO 20022-based messages for migrated payment flows. The important point to remember is this: SWIFT remains the secure transport network. ISO 20022 modernizes the financial messages exchange over that network. So, SWIFT and ISO 20022 work together rather than replacing one another. What does this mean for banks? The migration to ISO 20022 is much more than a simple technology upgrade. Banks need to modernize their payment systems. They must support richer and more structured data. Compliance processes need to be enhanced. Employees require training on the new message formats. Many banking applications, including Oracle FLEXCUBE, LoanIQ, payment hubs, and AML systems, also need to support ISO 20022. This is one of the biggest modernization programs the banking industry has ever undertaken. Real payment example. Let's see how payment works using ISO 20022. A customer initiates a payment through the sending bank. The sending bank creates an ISO 20022 payment message, such as PAX.008. That message is securely transmitted through the SWIFT network to the receiving bank. The receiving bank processes the payment. Settlement takes place through the appropriate banking channels, and finally, the beneficiary receives the funds. Notice that the SWIFT network remains the transport channel, while ISO 20022 provides richer and more structured financial messages, enabling better automation and compliance. Migration timeline. The migration to ISO 20022 has been a gradual journey rather than an overnight change. In March 2023, SWIFT introduced ISO 20022 for cross-border payments and reporting plus, commonly known as CBPR plus. A coexistence period allowed MT and ISO 20022 messages to operate in parallel, while financial institutions upgraded their systems. In November 2025, the coexistence period for CBPR plus payment instructions ended. However, modernization continues for additional financial message categories and payment infrastructures across the world. Key takeaways. Let's quickly recap today's learning. First, SWIFT is the secure communication network that connects financial institutions around the world. Second, ISO 20022 is the international messaging standard used to exchange richer and more structured financial information. Third, MT is the traditional messaging format, while ISO 20022 XML messages represent the modern approach. Finally, remember that SWIFT and ISO 20022 work together to create faster, smarter, and more transparent global payments. If you understand these 4 points, you've understood the foundation of the future of global financial messaging. Thank you so much for watching. Today we learned that SWIFT and ISO 20022 are not competitors. SWIFT continues to provide the secure network that connects financial institutions worldwide, while ISO 20022 modernizes the way financial information is exchanged by introducing richer and more structured data. Together, they are helping build a faster, smarter, and more transparent global payments ecosystem. I hope this video helped you better understand why the banking industry is moving from MT messages to ISO 20022. If you found this video helpful, please like this video. Share your questions or experiences in the comments. Subscribe for more banking, payments, Oracle FLEXCUBE, and financial technology content. Key takeaways. Let's